and like doing my best to it. But in the beginning on like attack, I struggled a lot, and I really wanted to know what I could have done differently there.
Yeah. I don't care if it's a win or a loss, honestly. As long as there's something that's like it's competitive, or you're like, oh, I didn't know what to do here. Like that's actually perfect. I think a lot of people are like, oh, it has to be a loss. No.
Okay. Then I have codes here.
Yeah.
Giving codes now. Sorry.
No worries. Take your time.
Second.
I actually had to record one of the codes from my later sessions earlier because we were scared that it was going to get wiped. So.
Oh, dude, that's what I did for our scrim because we had trials. I had to record like fucking an hour worth of shit.
That's brutal.
Yeah, what can you do, man?
If
only we can like save replays or some crazy feature like that. It's
exasperating. It's like, guys, please, I beg. I don't know.
I used to play Rocket League, and it's a I have shit from like 2017, 2016.
Oh my gosh.
Still,
that's
right
nice.
Now. Yeah, it is.
That's nice.
Loss with Feeding Doom. Yeah, and then I have one more here. I think would be pretty good. Oh, I think this is a good one. This one I think was a cheat against the cheating Hanzo, if I had to guess.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then we were like destroying them. I don't know if it's this one though. No, I don't think it's this. But this is still a good like loss here. Okay. I think this is pretty good. I hope that one's what I think it is. It's a loss, so I'm sure I did a bunch of shit wrong.
Right. Sure.
Mid where I sucked, I think. Okay, there you go.
Okay, let me get these in. T1RNJH, Numbani.
Man, I've been so looking forward to today. Actually,
I
have been consuming your content like a madman recently. It has been great. It just keeps popping up in my home feed, and I just keep watching it. I'm like, damn, shit's useful.
I've been paying off the YouTube CEO or something, I guess.
Do you know that one you did with Sev? I think his name is.
Yeah, Sev.
That one actually was so good that I immediately booked Sev and then you. So I had a thing with Sev.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I learned
great.
as much from that session as I think people in my own chat learned. Like, it was a really cool. Yeah. He's such a charismatic guy too. You know, he seems like legitimately super excited to talk about it, and that just makes it so much fun.
Yeah, he's cool. And he gave me such a stupid like in my opinion, it was such a stupid thing on my end that I was doing. But it like has already changed the game like fucking completely. I feel so dumb because it was such a small change. It's like it was literally as simple as like, why don't you just like aim instead of flicking? Why don't you aim in between your flicks? Why don't you actually take the time to aim instead of just spamming on cooldown?
Yeah. It's crazy how like the stupidest thing in the history of the universe, and just like, why haven't I not seen that? You know, it's like just like a new fresh set of eyes. Okay, so I got your codes in. Let's take a look at this from here. So, what do you hope you get out of the session? Multiple actionable items I can grind and focus on for several weeks until I've mastered each one by one. Well, you know what you're talking about, I guess.
It's not my first rodeo, but yeah.
Yeah, got it. All right, sounds good. Masters 1, okay. Long-term, short-term
Master
goals.
1. I've like rank updated Master 1 like 7 times at this point. I am so frustrated.
Okay. Long-term top 500, short-term GM, okay. And then hero pool and ranked, and this is the juice. Flex, DPS, Genji, Echo, best and favorite heroes, and then May, Reaper, Samphara, okay. So, we can skip to this pretty fast here because I want to talk about your training schedule right now. So, how often do you play per day on average? How much do you play of each hero percentage-wise? Do you have a warm-up routine? Do you take days off? Do you have days where you play more than less? I need to know all of that stuff.
Got you. So, I play 6 times a week, maybe.
Yeah.
5 to 6 times a week.
Yep.
Weekdays in the evenings after work, I play 3 to 5 hours. Like very rarely is it 3. Often it's 4. Sometimes it's like 5 to 6. But
okay.
Rare.
Somewhere in between. Okay.
Yeah. And then other aspect. Sorry, run the other questions by me.
Yeah. So we got the training time. Do you have how much do you play in like the weekends? Are there any like extreme examples?
Yeah, so I don't do any gaming on Saturday because that's the day I dedicate like with my girlfriend and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Sunday it's usually with the fam, so very rare, but sometimes.
Okay.
Training schedule. I start every day And Sev helped me like slightly alter this, which was I think pretty good. Basically, when I enter the game, I do like kind of a warm up drill that I created for myself. So I'll go for like 10 seconds, 15 seconds in the training range. I don't know why. I always start that way, and then I go to either Vaxta or that one on Havana.
Yeah,
the J one, whatever. I'll do that one, and then I'll do that one for like 5-10 minutes, and then or like 5 minutes, and then I'll go to there's like a really intensive strafing one. It's like I think it starts with an A, so I'll do a little bit more on that one, and then I'll do this for my main heroes, so predominantly Genji, predominantly Echo. And then sometimes if I know I'm gonna be scrimming a lot and we're gonna be playing Rush, I'll do a little bit of Mei, swap in some heroes here and there, but mainly it's those because those heroes I'm most committed on. And then I'll do a bunch of tryhard FFA until I'm pretty good, and then that's when I start my like sort of session of comp, and then it's usually some comp and then some scrim, and then maybe comp afterwards. It's usually comp scrim or scrim comp. It kind of depends on how the day will go, but usually I'm like pretty freaking tired after like all of that. So that's usually how that goes.
All the info I need to know, basically. Okay, just one more question at the end here, but a couple of things to start. How long does your warm up generally take by the time you finish up tryhard? From the time you start practice to the time you finish tryhard, how long does that usually take?
30 to 40 minutes, I think.
Okay, that's definitely at the top end. If there's any like fat that you can cut down there, like spend no time in the practice range, spend 2 minutes less in Vax, to spend 5 minutes less in try hard, find a code that something along those lines that probably will help out a little bit, because that is like, even though you're a DPS, like 30 to 40 is more on the top end, right? Essentially what warm up is attempting to do is attempting to do three things. Okay, number one, it's you're physically warming up your body, right? You're getting blood flow to your fingers, you're getting blood flow to your arms to get them kind of warmed up and more able to muscularly move. If you played with cold hands before, I'm sure, right? That feels horrible, right? So we want to kind of increase the blood flow just a little bit to the parts of the body that need it. The number two thing is it's aim training. It's actually building mechanical skill, just at least a little bit, where you're improving a little bit theoretically each day at getting better aim, more rapid exposure to 1v1 scenarios that will help your mechanics, even if it's not even clicking heads, just moving more comfortably around in Overwatch. And the third thing it does, and this is the really important one, is it's a trigger for shifting your mindset to it's time to work. It's time to go. It's a lot of the times when have you ever seen like a baseball game and they go up to the plate and they like tap the four corners of the plate with a baseball bat, or they tie their shoes. Right, it's like an anchor, right? A lot of it's not even like a superstition so much as it's like the trigger for their brain to go into combo mode, right?
Yes,
combat mode.
I believe it.
And basically what you need to ask yourself is how much of this time is it needed to be warmed up? How much of this time do I need to trigger my mind into I'm in a combat ready state? And how much of this time do I want to spend actually aim training? Because obviously 30 to 40 minutes isn't really that long of a time to be aim training. Like if you were focusing on I need to improve my mechanics, I would say 45 minutes, 50 minutes even, right?
Okay.
Right? But if you're just trying to get into rank, my mechanics are fine, I need to practice something else, then 30 to 40 minutes is too long for you to be quote unquote warmed up and have your mind ready. I would say 15 to 20 minutes or even shorter would be good enough if you're really concentrated on it. So for you, some days you might want to focus more training some mechanics and you might go a little longer. Some days you'll be like, I just want to get warmed up, and then you will go a lot shorter. So you need to find those three check boxes and find out which of those do I need to check for today's training session, and then make your decision of what you want to do based off of that. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. I feel like for the most part I feel like my aim sucks, so I'm always trying to grind that a little bit, and then I don't want to think about it when I'm playing comp.
Yes.
So it's kind of like the idea, but I like the because I'm not always wanting to do that. Sometimes I'm working on a game sense thing, so I like this dichotomy here.
Right. And then if you're working on your aim training, especially as a projectile DPS player, more of that's probably going to be spent in tryhard if the lobby isn't too plat than anything else. Because if you're thinking about like Genji Echo, you're just not going to practice that in Vaxta. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just not the same. There's so much more nuance to it. So something to consider. I'd also consider as well. I don't know how Projectile is going to feel with this, but give this one a shot here and let me know what you think. I have not experimented with IO sticks.
Oh, I saw this. Yeah. I haven't tried it yet. Yeah,
I haven't tried it yet either. But give it a shot because I trust IO sticks. I trust this to be at least decent. So I would give it a shot. And if it's good, then roll it. If it's like it's just like kind of Vaxa, then whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I honestly don't know. I just figured I'd feed that way just in case. Okay.
Sure.
Does all that make sense so far?
Okay.
Yeah.
All that does make sense so far. Yeah.
Okay. Next question for you is: how often do you scrimmage?
Yeah. So I scrimmage 2 to 3 times per week. Sometimes we throw in a VOD. Actually, you had a session with my teammates before.
Oh.
One of them was Gio, the tank. Wants to become rank 1 tank, if you remember him. And another one, her name is Sludge. This was like a while back, but she probably wants to hit you up sooner. You remember Sludge? Yeah, perfect. Those are my teammates, and we're looking for supports right now. So
okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. I mean, then scrim always gets priority. I think the way I like to prioritize my time is I might say like a ranked game, 1 or 2 ranked games before scrims, and then 1 or 2 afterwards. Or if you want to do like an hour and a half of ranked before, then scrims, then probably no ranked afterwards. You want to hit around that 4 hour mark, 3 to 4 hour mark with ranked plus scrims combined. Like you said, and I think for the most part, you're hitting that more often than not. But I would be scared if you were to do like, oh, we have a late scrim tonight, so I'm going to play ranked for 2.5 hours, 3 hours before, and then play a scrim. You want to avoid that outlier, right? That's not so good. And I also wouldn't want to go into a scrim cold, so you want to try and play at least do your warm-up routine before your scrimmage, even if you don't get a time for a rank game. But just general guidelines for that. And then the last thing I would say is, you might need to pull up your career profile if you can. What's your current breakdown of hours played for heroes played? Because obviously you're in a team, so that's going to affect some things as well, but I want to know where we fall with that.
So I have 2 accounts and they're pretty much the same ratio.
Great.
I'll just go on my main actually because they have like most of my hours. They date back to when I first started playing, which was quite a while ago.
If you just have this competitive season pulled up, and then just print.
Sorry, give me a sec.
Yeah, and then just print screen button and then Control V in Discord chat. It should just automatically copy it over.
Understood. By the way, are being recorded right now? Is all this being recorded?
Yes.
Okay, great, good stuff. Okay, career profile. Copy. Is this current competitive season?
Yeah.
And then you want like all?
This just a season is fine. It's been going on long enough. Yeah. Okay. So, so I mean, you see the speciality here. Now, of course. What do you play? What do you play in scrims?
I play a lot of May, like a good amount of May this season at least. A good amount of May, a good amount of Sombra, and I do play a good amount of Genji. Echo, not so much this season in comp or in scrims.
I think let me be honest with you. Genji, Echo, Sombra, May. You really need to cut it off there. Because like you're only playing around 3 or 4 hours a day, which is good, right? That's like you're like pushing the limit of like what we want in a hero pool. So just be careful about playing any more than like what you got here. So like as much as it pains me, try and avoid playing Hanzo when you can. Try and avoid playing Symmetra when you can. Try and avoid. You probably already do according to like your profile right here, but really try to avoid that and really try and sink those hours into the heroes that really matter for you.
Right.
And optimally with your team, like if you like had the stars aligned here, we would drop Sombra or we'd drop May and throw in Echo, because that's clearly a hero that you want to kind of play a lot of. So I would love if we could play that in ranked and play that in scrims. I don't like having ranked and scrims split in hours unless you're an Overwatch League player scrimming 4 hours a day and you just play ranked for fun. You know what I'm saying? Then you can screw around with whatever. Yeah. But for you, ranked is also your practice time, and it feels a little weird to have a practice time hero that you don't even play in scrims. So it's not bad. It's fine. But if I were to say a little low hanging fruit, maybe something to look at, keep an eye on in the future, just something to kind of keep in mind. Have you heard me talk about dynamic hero pools before?
No.
Okay, so dynamic hero pools is something that just like a lot of higher SR players have to consider. Is like as metas change and as patches shift and as team demands change, right? I'm sure you don't play Sombra because you love Sombra. You might
actually, I think she's kind of fun.
Okay,
but
okay,
mainly for team though. Mainly for team. You're
fair
right.
enough, fair enough. So I think you just have to shift your hero pool from like month to month. You know, every 3 or 4 weeks,
Yes.
you might have to shift a little bit, and that's okay. Well, we just want to make sure that within those like little micro mesocycles, every 3 to 4 weeks, that we're not doing too much within that, right? If you drop Genji off the face of the earth, sadness, right? But that's okay, right? Like in 3 to 4 weeks, we'll reevaluate and we'll go from there. We just don't want too much all at the same time. And so far, this career profile, it looks okay, right? It's not too bad. I've certainly seen a lot worse. But as long as it stays at this level, or maybe even gets a little bit better, we're good to go. We just want to be efficient with our training. Okay.
I agree.
GM top 500. Yeah, I mean, honestly, mate, I think your training schedule isn't too bad. I think Grandmaster is possible. I think we're putting in a decent amount of hours, putting in about an average of 3 hours per day, even taking a day or 2 off. Your training time isn't too long either. Like, we're not hard grinding for like 6 or 7 hours a day, so that's good. We are getting some scrim practice. Our hero pool looks relatively okay, at least according to your career profile. Yeah, we just need maybe just a couple of adjustments with your warm-up, maybe a couple of adjustments with just tightening up the hero pool a little bit. And then we just need some goals of like what we need to be doing actually in game, you know? And then we should be good to go. Do you have any questions so far?
No, I think you kind of answered it. It was going to be, so you know how you said try to work in the echo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like in the scrims, so first of all, hopefully in an hour that things change, and yeah, we can in like the shift the patch, right?
Yeah.
But the thing I find tough is like our hero pools, like Geo, our tank specializes mainly with like Ryan and then like Ball. Like basically everyone has the same situation, so it's hard to make it so we all can do that thing because we all want to improve.
Yeah. Is it like the lack of synergy between the heroes you guys want to play?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Like we have all good heroes that synergize with each other, but our best heroes don't synergize with each other.
Right. Well, give me what you got right now. So you said Ryan Ball. Okay. What else do you have?
So Ryan Ball are his tank's best, and then he also plays some Sig.
Okay, and then your other player?
Not as much. My other player plays mainly hit scan, so favorite hero is Ashe, best hero is Ashe, that is. Yeah. And then Bastion, Cass, I don't remember what else. I'm a terrible teammate. Some Widow.
Yeah. Okay, I mean that's really good. We just want to know the main ones, right? And then you said you're trialing supports.
We're trialing support.
Okay.
We found like some pretty solid ones so far, but we're still trialing them.
I mean, if you threw in like a Kiriko Mercy, you could whip out a Ball Echo Ashe comp. You know what I'm saying? And you could make that work on a lot of maps, like Dorado, Route 66. Might be rough on a map like Lijiang or Circuit, but you could make that work on a lot of maps. And honestly, what you could do is you could have it as like, okay, we can't play this composition on every map, but it's our pocket pick. I mean, that's essentially what London ended up doing last season with Ryan. Is like some metas, some maps. We just played meta, right? But there were some maps which were still really good with Ryan, and we'd pull that one out and make people suffer. You know what I'm saying? And I think for you is you could be like, okay, I do have to kind of be a little bit of a meta slave here, but I could pull out the Echo, we could pull out the Ball, we could pull out the Ashe or whatever on this specific map and make it work.
I like it.
So something to consider. You know, heck, even be like, okay, we can't play it on, but what about Lijiang Tower Night Market? You know what I'm saying? That might be a good, you could pull that one out there maybe. Maybe you couldn't do it in Control Center, but you could do it there. So I don't know, just something to consider. And heck, you could even try it on bad maps just to see if you could find a way to make it work. I don't know, like you're at an SR now, like honestly, it really doesn't even matter the SR where like you can be, like Team Avoided was like that crazy one-trick team that played, like they literally defined, they created their own meta and it worked, right? So anyway, just something to kind of keep in mind. But I hear you, it is tough. Okay, and then you say, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to ask one final question on that before we move on from that is like, how do you feel about Genji with Ball instead of Sombra? And then this may be weird, but Genji with Reinhardt and like a rush comp?
It could work. Like Genji is a short range brawl hero. You would just find ways to set up your Genji on an angle for dives, you know? You'd find like a Genji with Ball. It would just need to be a less hardened gauge until we have Blade or we have an opportunity. I think 100% could work. There's synergy there, right? There's synergy there. Genji's a very flexible hero. He's just not a very strong hero.
I agree.
So you can make it work. And then hey, maybe the patch today, Genji gets his ammo back, right? Dude, surely.
Don't get me started.
One of the stupidest nerfs they've ever done, I will say that.
So bad.
Okay. And it took them ages to actually fix the DPS passive, which is really why it was broken. But yeah, anyway. Okay, so what do you feel is holding you back from improving? You say mentality is 7 out of 10. That's not bad. What do you think is, if you were to say one thing about your mentality that could be a little bit better, what would you say?
I'd say that I still get tilted despite working on my mentality quite a lot to stay very positive.
Right.
Like, I think a really good example of this is like, so I try not to fixate on the rank. I try to become a GM player instead of hit GM. Right. I try to really internalize these things. However, I'm still like, every single time I'm about to do a rank update, there's that chance to hit GM, so I'm excited for it. The last one I fucking did pissed me off so hard. And excuse me for all this swearing, by the way.
You're all right.
I remember I had two wins left, and then I'd like hit the rank. The game I immediately queued into after going like apeshit and winning so many games, and playing really well. I felt I queued into a game with Lee Jang where someone has never played comp before, and the rest of the team were gold. And then that game was like miserable. I tried everything in my power to win that, trying not to judge them. That was bad. Mm-hmm. And then I had another game where an individual does not play Junker Queen very clearly, but played it for an entire push map, and then we lost that. And then a third one where it was just probably like a lot of errors on my end, but I was kind of feeling it at that point. And then once the third loss hit, doesn't happen often, that's when I knew I'm tilted. I have to stop. And I hate that. I want to have a lot stronger of a mental, and I want to constantly be more like acutely aware of my own mistakes and what I can do and change it on the fly, as opposed to fixating on very clear mistakes my team might make and like way less of that. I want to like eliminate this as much as humanly possible.
Right. I mean, I think I'm trying to think of the best way to put this here. If something gets in your head in a game, right? Like let's say a really, really, really unfortunate circumstance, like you queue with a bunch of gold players. That's definitely a tilting thing, but I want you to kind of look at that as an opportunity to do you a favor, because obviously you're in this for the long haul. We want to get you to GM in top 500, and there aren't going to be many things that are going to tilt you as much as queuing into a gold lobby, okay? And hopefully that's not with us for very long, but there's a huge opportunity now where you could have these crappy matchmaking games you could sharpen your mental so hard off of that more than anything else, so then when you get into your GM lobbies and your top 500 and so on, and you get a Symmetra OTP in your team, you're like, easy, right? This is a weakness that I have, where I deal with these really crappy lobbies, unfortunately, or I get frustrated, or I focus on teammates' mistakes. But I've built this skill from training for weeks and months in gold lobbies and platinum lobbies and crappy situations. And because I found a way to practice responding to that a little bit better, this kind of stuff is like easy peasy. Now, how you do that, obviously easier said than done. Acknowledge the reality that you are in a gold lobby and this sucks, and that you're a little bit frustrated, and do your best to funnel that frustration, that emotion, that focus into what you're doing. Be perfect at what you're doing. Whether that's your positioning, your decision making, your mechanics, your awareness, take that energy. Don't pretend that, the lobby, it's fine. No, it's not fine. It's annoying. But this is a huge opportunity for you to be able to train despite that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because the world is like not fair, right, with this kind of stuff. And until the world is fair, the people that are able to deal with these kind of negative situations better, not be positive and fake smiles and PMA, but just going, this sucks, but I'm going to deal with it better than everybody else. That's where your mentality has to be. And obviously that's easier said than done, but that's something that you have to practice at. And you raised a little bit of a red flag earlier when you said, I feel like I've been working at it, but I still, yes, you're never going to be a 10 out of 10 with mentality. Nobody is, right? So, but can we get that to a 7.5 over the course of the next few weeks? Because that's a big improvement, right? So don't beat yourself up a little bit if you're not like, I still get frustrated. Yes, that frustration is normal. It's what you do with how that respond to that frustration and how you're able to improve it. That's what's going to make you a better player. And that's also something that's really, really important for a team player as well. Like you're somebody who scrimmages a couple times a week, right? You know exactly how that goes, right? You know exactly how that goes. Sometimes you're going to have lobbies where you're like, this is miserable, right?
Yeah.
And your ability to respond to that is a phenomenal life skill right there.
Agreed.
Okay. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Mechanics 7 out of 10. We talked a little bit about that earlier. I mean, the best thing you can do is just find your best lobbies, find out if tryhard's really good, try out that IO6 trainer, try out the other stuff, and see like, is there a way to improve it, and then just play, right? Just play.
Right.
And then understanding 5 out of 10. Elaborate on that, and then we'll hop into gameplay.
Sure. Real quick on the mechanics one before we go into this one. Actually,
yeah, please.
So you mentioned like 30-40 minutes too much for a warm-up, but then it's good or not enough for like mechanical practice. How many times would you recommend? I have like days where I do mechanical practice. Like if you have insight on this, it would help.
It depends on how much of a shortcoming your mechanics are. So for you, if your mechanics are a major shortcoming, what I would do is, again, I would cut the fat like the vaccine, the practice range, and just get immediately into either difficult workshop codes, or I'd get into difficult tryhard FFA and just grind, and aim to win every 1v1 that I'm on, hit every right click that I am, and then just that's what I need to be grinding on. How often you need to do that? I don't know. I never really had a specific structure when I felt like my mechanics were like not feeling super hot. I spent a little bit extra time in tryhard back when I was climbing the gym. And then just use your judgment. I will say that as human beings, we have a tendency to blame the easy stuff. Like, I'm not fast enough. I should have made that shot. In basketball, I should have caught that ball. At football, or I should have hit that shot on Widow, or I should have made that flick as Genji. So we have a tendency to overestimate the value of mechanics. But if you really truly think that your mechanics are a shortcoming, then it's okay to train it. Keep in mind that mechanical specific training is not that much better than just playing ranked. So that's something that you will have to keep in mind. And then, so it's like, if you really feel your mechanics are a shortcoming, you're going to benefit from playing tryhard. But if you're not really sure, the problem with playing tryhard is you don't practice the other things that you could be doing at the same time.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I mean, you'll kind of see some of these were post-sev, some of them were pre-sev, so it'll adjust a little bit. But the biggest thing was consistency for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm almost there. I feel like I'm almost like not insane, but I'm almost like pretty solid. Like I had like a few people VOD me, and they mentioned they're like, you should be hitting a little bit more right clicks. But for the most part, I think I'm like I'm maybe a little. But I'll play by ear. I think that's a good way to...
I'll see if anything stands out to me. If I think it's really bad, I'll let you know. If I think it's really good, I'll let you know.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, with mechanical specifically, it is what it is. I had something I was going to say with mechanics. The consistency is going to be a little bit of a problem with just, you taking a couple days off, but also that's just life, so I'm with you on that. So I don't think it's that big of an issue. I will say this is like, if you were to ever have on your day off, play like 1 or 2 games, literally the bare minimum, without even maybe like a 5-minute warm-up, that would be helpful. But it depends on if you have time for that, right? If you don't have time for that, you got other stuff going on. Again, I growing up, right? You have responsibilities, then that's fine. Understanding 5 out of 10, is there something specific, or is it just broad as a whole?
I'd say more broad, like, so in understanding, I encapsulate, like, in my eyes, it's, okay, so alt tracking, do good sometimes I forget, sometimes I'm like, not so accurate, so that is like, whatever. And then I have, overall, like, what would be, how to play with this comp, against the enemy comp, utilizing Genji, Echo, whatever, when to swap each other, sort of whatever. How to make plays. This one is really what I want to get better at. Like, I love making plays, whether it's scrim or in comp. Like, I'm a big I com all the time. I love, like, there's so many games that we should not have won that we just fucking like made work just because of like crazy plays and shit. I love this idea, but I don't think I'm knowledgeable enough, or maybe I don't want to use the word creative, but I want to be more creative with these kind of plays, and like do some wacky troll shit that's actually really smart, and the enemy team doesn't get it, etc.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that. I mean, here's the thing: is like there's a great chess analogy here where like beginners have to like master the basics and master the fundamentals and learn the rules, and then once you understand the rules, you then can know when you can bend the rules. And heck, sometimes it looks like you're not ignoring the rules entirely, but actually you're following the rules perfectly. You're just doing it in such a creative and interpretive manner. It doesn't feel like it, right? And that's kind of like what we want to do is we focus on the fundamentals so that you do them without even thinking. And that opens up so much artistic and creative expression with how you want to approach things. And that applies to everything in life. So for you, maybe it's a lack of fundamental understanding or a lack of just mastering the fundamentals as a skill. Like you understand them, but you don't do them well enough. And it could also be like a little bit of a lack of confidence where you see these opportunities, but you're like, oh, I don't know. Try it, right? You know, experiment. Don't be afraid to stress test a little bit. So we'll take a look. Anything else that you want to go over with understanding?
Yeah, I mean, also just like hero specific things. Like I really feel like I have so much more to master: positioning, playing cover, when to aggro, when not to aggro, timing. These fundamental aspects of my hero. Again, I really, I don't think it was in there, but one of my goals is I want to be like the greatest Genji, or if not one of the greatest Genjis. With like when you think Genjis, you think water, necro, shatter, etc. I want to be like amongst that name. So I really want to master like everything about Genji. To be honest, everything else is a bonus. To me, a Genji is like Overwatch.
Got it. I really agree. Genji's what got me started in Overwatch. The first hero I made.
I heard.
Yeah. All right, let's give me a code to start with here. What do you want to start with? We got Numbani. Both Numbanis actually. Midtown, where I sucked, I think. Which one do you want to start with?
Maybe we can start with the first Numbani, the Kefri Numbani one.
Okay.
And just see, because
take a look. So.
I don't know. Didn't really know what I can do for a large portion of that.
Yeah. Okay. Genji, and then this is Masters. Let me get my.
Updated here. I think I may have started as Echo and then swapped Genji, and then on defense I went Sombra. I believe that's how it was.
Okay. So do you just want to focus on the Genji part?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Sure. I'm more interested in that anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. You start Echo, then there's some Genji, then there's more Genji, then there's Sombra, and then we did get any more Genji, so just the Genji card around here. Okay, so I assume after coffee we swap. Yes. Okay, so the strength of Genji, we don't have to sit here and bake over it for an hour, but it's just essentially, you know, we're a very good mobile duelist. We could take high ground off angles. We have cooldowns that we can either use aggressively or we can use defensively if we get pushed out of the position that we're on. Kefri Orisa, that is beyond cursed.
Yeah. And then mental athlete or whatever his name is the.
Okay, let's see here. I mean, it's just, it ain't that deep, you know. You got headshot, had an opportunity to deflect. I don't even think we saw the Cassidy. You know, there's gonna be a lot of fights where we just, we made a mistake, you know. We want to look for like habits or a lack of understanding or you know, stuff like that, right? Even this is like, we're already down one, so how much are we gonna learn from this, right? Maybe a little bit of sloppiness with a deflect, probably could have disengaged, but we wanna cruise. So this is really important here. So you hit your shurikens here. We have to deflect out. Just make sure that whenever you're deflecting, it's necessary and or you're using it to take a position that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. So for example, like right here, I see this deflect because you're obviously walking out into Cassidy range and Ana range and Echo range, right? So we need to deflect. But then as soon as you're deflecting, your immediate rotation needs to be to this position here, like as quickly as you possibly can. No wasted time, right?
Got it.
Be very disciplined. Surely. Ho. So we're even. Nice. Nice. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, there hasn't been a lot. This has been okay. We haven't had a proper fight. Feels like we're down one immediately. Yeah. I'm glad we got more than one code.
Yeah.
Now, this I don't like. So my gut instinct told me that this would be an issue because it seems to be an issue for a lot of people, right? But you see their positioning and you see your positioning, and I don't like this, right? I do not like this whatsoever. What do you think about this deflect? You tell me.
I think it's not getting much value, and it would only really give value if they're all just like standing still shooting at it and I reflect headshots. Otherwise it's like literally useless.
Right. You really have to break this habit, especially that you're at the rank where you're in, because it's just not going to work 99% of the time. And it's so important that you hold this position right here, right? Where you could just pump in shuriken damage on this D.Va and or maybe even deepen your angle, right? And look for at least threat and assassinations. But if you don't have your deflect, you can't even necessarily peek here. Like let's say you want to peek and throw some shurikens. Now there's actually a risk to do that. Like let's say that Echo throws stickies or the cast hits a headshot. Now there's an actual risk out of that. Like your deflect is more than your dash is your get out of jail free card. And if you're just using it for just whatever, maybe the Cassidy will shoot and I will take half his HP. It doesn't matter, it just doesn't matter. We need to hold this position. Your deflect is what allows you to hold good positions, right? So, and then now we have to disengage, whereas we actually should just be very bravely throwing shurikens right here, and then if we wanted to rotate later, we can. But like even here, it's like, I don't know. Like this is actually risky. I'll say this as well is pretty sloppy, okay? So first off, we need to grab the mini immediately before we do anything, right behind us, right? Second thing, you don't have your deflect. A better Kiriko here body shots you or headshots you, and you're immediately in trouble all over again, right? Third thing, no. Right? No. Just throw shurikens and then finish with a dash. Because right here, she's full HP, right? Do you see that? You still there? I can't hear you if you're talking.
I'm so sorry. I accidentally hit mute. I was saying, yeah, you're right.
You're good. Yeah, but she's full HP, right? You've just used your mobility cooldown, your disengage cooldown, or your finisher for meaningless chip damage, right?
Right.
Like, that's no good. No good. If anything, you miss the opportunity to actually one-shot her, because you could have gone one right click first and then done what you just did, and then she dies before she even TPs out. You see that? There's your opportunity. You blew it too early, and then now you don't have your dash for the Ana. You don't have your dash for this. Even this is too early, right? So like right here, that dash needs to be either not used at all or used to finish the target, and then here. We pop or deflect when really right now we shouldn't be deflecting at all. When should you be deflecting here?
Honestly, I usually feel like it's correct because like to deflect early because they insta try to sleep you.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get out like either that or like a messed up nade.
Sure.
But
you can react
I guess
to
I
these
can
things.
wait a little bit. Right. Yeah, I guess like instead of doing it proactively, like wait for the wind up.
Okay. Expect it. And the other thing is as well is if I want to be really technical in this 1v1 here, what you should do is you should throw shurikens like this and play the corner, and then if anything, wall climb up and throw shurikens up above, so you're harder to hit and you're less likely to take nade splash.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
So play the cover, play the corner more. Cancel your right click, and then with the deflect when you see the opportunity. But this right here, I'm going to be honest with you, Ana honestly has the advantage right now because she's got both cooldowns and she has nade, and you just used your deflect and it's literally air, and you have only half your clip right now. You should lose this duel.
Yeah.
And even if you don't lose your duel, this is the result, right? This is the result, Like, I think obviously last fight, we're going to use our blade anyway. But that's good. But we want to think about what's a habit that we have to break. Because honestly, I don't know if any of that I've talked about outside of the kill and the Kiriko would have actually won you this fight. But still. And even this bothers me so much right here. Stop deflecting. Shoot the baby D.Va, right? Shoot the baby D.Va. I think maybe we're thinking like, deflect, stickies or deflect, but just kill the D.Va. Kill the D.Va, right? Like now you don't have your deflect, you're cooked. You're cooked. No. And you're cooked. Oh my gosh. My heart. Like right now, how do we take this duel? Be big brain about it. I know what you're going to do, but I want you to tell me what we should do.
I can think of a few options. So one would be very patient, poke out, force her into cover so she can't heal her team.
And it's risky to do that, though, with her gun, right?
Yeah, not to mention, like, right below me, I'm pretty sure, like, some people, so that's scary.
Right. So you want to close the distance with your shurikens and your dash, right? Okay, so
yes.
so you would do what? Left click or right click?
I think you'd left click.
You would left click, late dash cancel, right? So you go
dash cancel?
As in, you wouldn't go left click immediately dash because that would cancel the animation of your second and third shurikens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you go 1, 2, 3 dash, right? With your left, right? Then
absolutely.
What?
And then I think, like, how you'd want to do that is make it so that when you dash, you land far enough where you, like, might not get naded, and then you turn around, right click, reflect on the potential sleep or getting a shot, and then use that to close the distance to be on your maximum effective range, and then cancel, reflect, right click, melee.
So you're saying you want to actually play outside of nade range?
At least when I land in my dash. That's what my instinct is telling me.
Got it. That works for me. Here's another more aggressive variation. You're going to throw your triple shuriken. You're going to dash directly at her feet. Then you're going to immediately wall climb up. And you will be hit by nade. But then you're going to be right-clicking above her head, then drop, right-click, deflect, cancel, and then jump, right-click, melee.
There's a good chance I also just went for the one-shot here, by the way.
Right.
Dash, right-click, melee.
The thing I want to see, though, is I want to actually see you use your environment. I want you to see you use your environment. So even if you get naded here, I want to see you use your environment. You see, this is the problem, right? I don't care that you deflected the sleep dart. This is you dash in front of her, you get naded. Okay, that's okay. We got this, right? But then what do? We just stand in front of her. Use the wall. Use the cover. That's why cover is so good for you, is because it allows you to bait cooldowns and play around, make the enemy team's shots harder. Because obviously, when you wall climb, shurikens are harder for you to hit too, right? But what's the difference between you wall climbing and the enemy team not knowing that you're going to wall climb? Like it's hard for both of you, right?
It's more, yes, yeah. I'm more elusive. I'm harder to hit.
Right. She doesn't know that you're going to wall climb. You know ahead of time that you're going to wall climb.
See.
It's like a tracer blink, right? It throws off both of your aims, but one of you knows it's about to happen, so it's prepared to adjust accordingly. The other one has to react, right?
I see what you
That's the difference right there. I could have explained that one better.
I have a question. No, it's okay. I have a question on this then. I find that when I duel people, I find if I'm double jumping or landing from a wall climb, that's when I'm most vulnerable. And I find that it feels a little dangerous because you're on the most predictive, like, arc downwards.
Which is why you do it here, on top of her head.
Okay.
You see
so
what I'm saying?
Like the little frame of the door, like on the left or on the right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you think about when I recommended it here as well, again, a situation where you could be on top of her.
I see.
Right? Or be on top of her, and then as you're falling, you're waiting to deflect, and then you deflect out on the way down, right? Same thing here. Like it's a lot easier said than done when it comes to dealing with a wall climb and predictable arc when you're over them. Double jump is extremely easy to hit unless you're double jumping over their head. Right?
Yeah. Right.
It's like the Farah, it's like what the Yazin disease, where it's impossible to hit the guy because he's on top of you, right? So that's the problem here, is like you're thinking like, oh, the double jump is predictable, the wall climb is predictable, but look at where you're positioned. You see the gap between you and the Ana?
Yeah.
This is easy stuff for the Ana. But as you get closer, different story.
I'm really not wanting to talk about that.
Yeah.
I should have easily hit that.
Yeah. Too much panic. That has to happen. Do we even get a recontest? Probably not. Yeah. Okay, so main takeaways for me so far is I have some concerns about how you're taking 1v1 specifically, how you're wasting your deflect in situations where it's very unlikely to take it. And for the 1v1 specifically, I want to see better use of cover and have like a better like little micro engagement game plan in your head, if that makes any sense. A lot of Genji is reactive, but a lot of it is also kind of having an idea of how I would take this engage, you know. I think we could be doing a better job. So what do you want to look at next following this similar line of thought?
This similar line of thought. Probably. I think either is fine, really. Maybe we could do Midtown for more map variety.
Sure.
And then if we have time, back to the good old Nimbani.
I hate Nimbani so much.
Really, I like the money.
It has good. It's good for a Genji, but for any hero that doesn't have mobility, the first point is just miserable.
Yeah. Okay. I see. Yeah, I'm very biased. Genji Echo, you know.
Yes. True. The hero, very good on that map. Okay, so like, gonna be a lot of the same here. Opportunities for assassination, closing the distance. You know, like right here. A worse Genji would dash this immediately. She would ice block and then walk on you with mouse one and you would die. So your mentality is right here. What are you thinking?
Poking her, baiting out ice block.
Yes.
And then looking for the kill. But then I think it like shifts pretty quickly to, oh shit, my team's dead. I'm probably gonna dash to get some ult charge, but also to like get the hell out of here.
Yep.
That's not what I did now. That's what I'm thinking now.
Yeah. Maybe we get out there? Yeah, we get out. All right. D.Va's popping off.
I don't think I noticed my team dying fast enough.
I mean, it happened immediately, so it's all right. Okay. Now this is what I talked about. This is what I talked about. So you're just deflecting for the sake of deflecting. Yes, you're waiting on D.Va, but also why would we not just deflect in the canceler, deflect and dash up to here? Right? And while we're waiting, we're kind of controlling this angle, we're controlling the space, and we're waiting for D.Va from here, right? Whenever you get your deflect forced, you know, there's nothing you can really do. Unfortunate, go next. But you can also invest your deflect to take space, right?
Yeah.
So for you, it's like a Winston jump almost. It's like here, I deflect here, oh shoot, it's Widow. I'm gonna try and bait her into shooting her own Mei. But why not also just dash through and take this position at the same time? Because now.
So actually, this is a great opportunity for me to ask. I don't know how to play Genji on this map at all. I don't know where. Like on defense, I kind of know as they're coming in, you can like go over the train and like try to assassinate. But I'm not very good at that. I'm not very good at the map overall with this character.
Sure. So you can go up and over if you guys are actually pushing the top, but that's more often than not going to be the case. So then what you can do is, because you're so hyper mobile, as your team is like at this choke, you could just walk through. You could just walk through, climb through here, throw some shurikens, get healing, throw some shurikens here. You can also rotate all the way to here. Throw shurikens from here. You could throw shurikens from here. This position here, remember your mobility and your escape option allows you to take more aggressive positions to shoot squishies. Now, if I'm playing versus a Cassidy Ashe, this position is kind of scary, but against heroes that don't have a lot of range, then I can take any position that I want and threaten. So what I would try and do is try to rotate deeper and look for opportunities to dive. And then you dash in here, threaten the kill, deflect, drop, and then go back to your team. Rinse and repeat. Okay. Take the position, take an aggressive angle, look for an opportunity to engage, have an escape path ahead of time, deflect, dash, you know, whatever, and rinse and repeat. And then if they're running something like a Widowmaker or Zen, you could even take even more of the map and set up like super greedy angles, get healing. You know, your team could support you anywhere over here, and you can help your team walk out of the choke by providing pressure from a deeper angle. Let's actually see if we see some more like direct specific stuff. Because like right here, you really shouldn't be here. You need to be rotating out, throwing shurikens. Look at the comp.
Okay.
Just rotate out and throw shurikens. Rotate out and throw shurikens, set up the map. And then try and maybe even go and spawn camp their Widow, choke their Widow out, right? Because your team is not fighting here. Your team is rotating out, and that's very wise. Your team doesn't want to really push up into the Mei, Bap, Junker, Queen. So you're like staging, like we're going to go in, but really you should just be rotating further out this way. Just start throwing shurikens at this Mei and this Kiriko, right? You know, look to dive this Bap now, because he's isolated. And you can dash through this Bap, shoot, deflect, come back in here, play cover, look for another opportunity to reset and go.
Okay.
Way too much attention on this Junker Queen instead of controlling a better, more aggressive angle. So this is more macro Genji, right? Like that dash is kind of silly again, because look at her HP.
Yeah.
Like this isn't gonna get the kill, and you were already on top of her as well, so you didn't need to get closer to throw shurikens, right? So why dash?
No reason.
If anything, it actually lowers your DPS because it disorients you, and then you're missing your shots now. And then you also get your deflect force. And then now the problem is that if we want to take an aggressive angle, now we actually are a little bit at risk because we don't have our cooldowns to take the aggressive angle. Those cooldowns are what allow you to play more aggressive positions to just do damage with your M1.
Got it.
All right, rotate. Where's Widow? Where's Widow? She's dead again. Kiriko's just not healing you. Oh, we're trolling. Your Kiriko's trolling as well. But no, no. Yeah. Like you needed this get out of jail free card, and now you're cooked.
We are indeed cooked.
Ooh. No.
I remember. I'll give you one
this
thing in my defense. In my defense, Kiriko said, "Fuck it, let's go Coco in comp." In comms.
But
and
why
I
deflect?
got persuaded.
But why deflect?
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
That's what I'm worried about. It's the deflect that I'm worried about. It's
like, not the engage. Okay.
No. The engage is okay. Like, this is theoretically still winnable. The Cassidy's in spawn, the Jungle Queen's in spawn, or Diva's taking this. This is winnable here. But why deflect? Why deflect? Right? Even this dash, it's like you misjudge the amount of HP that she has. So when you go for the dash, once again, look at her HP. You mess up. 61 HP, and now you're cooked. You know what dash is? It's a lot like the melee finishes Winston, is what it is. Where if you miss it, like or you hit it, but they're not low enough to where it one-shots them, you have a delay in your gun before you start shooting again, and you're like, oh no. You give them opportunity to survive it. You know what I'm saying? So if you mess up your finishing blow, you can see the problem with your screen right now, right? You disorient yourself and make it harder for any follow-up if the follow-up is necessary.
I have a question on this then.
Because you missed your right click, right? Why did you miss your right click? Because you dashed.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, so let's say she had no form of healing there, was no BAP. Would it then become correct, and this is from a perspective of, the right click dash doesn't finish her, but the right click dash 180 right click melee does. And this is what I often try to go for. Like, if I see a hero has lost some HP, I will do that with the knowledge that, like, oh, I'm gonna dash. They don't know I'm gonna dash, but I know I'm gonna dash. It's harder for both of us, but I can,
look at the bottom right of your screen. She doesn't have ice block, right? So you're confident that you can finish her off. Right. So I'm okay with that. Just hit it. That's all.
I see. Plus, there's also a BAP, which is probably why it was very incorrect.
Just hit it. Right. Which probably focus on the BAP or whatever instead. And you just know it's going to take a little bit longer for her to finish up here. Yeah. I mean, it just hit it. Remember that your dash technically lowers your DPS unless you're perfect with it, because you're essentially putting yourself in a position where it's hard to follow up shuriken. So it is that final blow. I don't want you to be like second guessing every dash usage here, but what we're seeing here is we're just seeing kind of cooldowns being used, and then like, get on the BAP. Oh, no, we might need to disengage. I would just disengage. Never mind. I don't think we could have.
Yeah. Oh, Overwatch is starting an update, by the way, so I think
we're safe. Trust.
Don't close the client. Okay. I trust.
Hang in there.
I'm hanging.
Yeah, again, right here, take an aggressive angle. Now, where's that aggressive angle? Left or right?
Sorry, do you mind going back like a second ago?
Sure. This is a trick question. Your Diva's bombing in. You're playing Diva. Or Genji, excuse me. Take an aggressive angle. Where's the aggressive angle?
Okay, so because they're spread out and they're covering a lot of flanks, my instinct is go like dash top left window, poke at their heads, like try to shift it so that it's point, like flip the map a little.
You could also just dash top right, play for RNG one shot on their squishies. They'd be very risky, high risk, high reward. Or you could just play the safe thing, swing left, and just fight the Jungle Queen, right?
Right.
And then you have your cooldowns. You can get up in her face, but unlike other DPS, you can get up in your face, and then if things start to go south, you could just run away, right? So to me, I think there's a lot of options here. Let's just see what we do. Okay. That's garbage. You got robbed. Play your life. Please don't poke here. Just survive. Definitely not necessary, but okay.
Yeah.
I'm more referring to the nano, I think, than I am to the blade, but it is what it is.
I agree, because I do think blade probably wasn't, but I think it was worth the risk in my eyes. I don't know.
Sure, it's all right.
It's
mid-town first point, you know, it's brutal. Like even this here, like why deflect there? You know, Why deflect there? The reason why I'm second guessing this is it's not because I'm wanting you to play more cautious or more careful. If you had an opportunity in 3 seconds to go one shot their Cassidy, you cannot do it.
I see. Okay.
You need that deflect so that you can go ego their backline. And you could go dash in with just go for the kill. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, a lot of Genji is having the confidence that you can actually one-shot people, even if you can't necessarily always do it, right? If you don't want to be a beta with it, right? You need to have be a little bit brain damaged. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have your deflect, it just makes it totally different. Like right now, you have the opportunity here to dash into that back window, right-click, deflect, a wall climb out here, right?
Right.
You don't have to, but you could. Let's see.
That's good. That's good. All charge, good chance for kill. You're absolutely right.
But this is what ticks me off, is what you did right there. You did the worst of both worlds. You played it safe. That's fine. That's fine. This is kind of crazy, right? Play it safe. And then you walk forward and deflect. You don't walk, deflect, oh, out. You actually walk forward like, haha, watch me, I'm going to one-shot somebody with your deflect. Even with the back window, I just don't like this. You should die for this. Oh, but you kind of see what I'm saying, right? It feels like your deflects are more often than used, as in like the enemy team will shoot this because they're silver, right? And it's just not good. Sometimes that's fine. For example, think about like, I don't know, that's not what I want to do.
I mean, I think the example you gave was pretty good. Like if I didn't
remember the deflect here in the Widow?
Yeah.
Remember that? You weren't like I said. You could probably take space with it, but there wasn't really anything going on, right? You didn't need your deflect. So go for it. Roll the dice. You know what I'm saying? Roll the dice. Get that wooded one-shot or backline. But right now, stuff's going on, right? Don't use your deflect. It is, without your deflect, you cannot play the game. You need to be so careful about deflects like that.
Okay. It's good to know.
I don't think you necessarily need to be going this deep either. I think like you're already so close. This positioning is really, really good, right? You could just take here, again, dash backline, ego, right click, wall climb up, deflect, you know, right? Or just simply hold this position and just shoot tanks, right? Shoot DPS from here. I don't know why we're hard flanking. Because you already had a position to kind of to just pressure them from wherever, right? So I think you were good. What a little rat. No. Oh, tragic. Ego, here it comes. You see how important that deflect was?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good play. Objectively good play. If you're mechanically better, he dies. Now, I will say this, by the way. Mechanics here. A little bit of mechanics. Check this out. Right click. You see that delay? There's going to be an inherent built-in delay between your right clicks, even if you cancel them with dash. Last I checked. So be very careful about using shurikens before your dash if you're planning on immediately canceling afterwards, because you'll miss the window to one-shot them in the head. That's why sometimes the best one-shot combo is to just dash without using any shurikens and then immediately channel pre-Q your right click as you're dashing. Right?
Yeah.
At this distance, you're probably okay because the animation of the dash means that there's a little bit of delay anyway, but just something to consider. But yeah, this is really good. Like, look, think about what you did for your team here, right? You had an opportunity to get a kill. You forced a little bit of cooldowns. You forced them into a bad position, like they're not in aggressive angle anymore. You force them to back off, and then if they walk forward, they're at risk of getting one shot again, right? And you have cover. Like, this is textbook Genji value right here, right?
Got it.
Textbook Genji value. Really, really nice. This is 100% the right thing to do. Now, why are you deflecting? You see it? But you see it, though. Right there. There's the habit again. You hold the angle. Your team's in spawn. Just chill. Or dash out and hide and wait. But what do? You're not even... I thought you were deflecting here so that you could dash out to your spawn, you know?
Yeah, I think I was actually going to, but then the Zarya beam got me, like, fucking scared, so I went the other way.
Okay. If that's the case, then we're good to go. But it looked an awful lot like, oh, maybe they'll shoot my deflect. You know?
No, I mean, I'm still very, very guilty, very guilty.
Right. Okay.
Doing that.
Okay. I also think what you're doing here is just dumb, respectfully. I know what you're doing, right? You're thinking graph.
Yeah.
Don't worry about Grav. Worry about the Blizzard. Worry about the Mei on this angle. Worry about the Cassidy that's going to flank here, or the Bap that's going to flank here. Because ironically, you could deflect this one easier, and you do better in this 1v1 as well. So this is just, you're cooked. Goodbye. Right? Oh no, even worse, you're a non-factor. Even worse than being dead is being useless. Get out of here. All right, walking forward. Don't.
I feel like it's a lot of my Midtown games like this. I just feel like I'm so lost a lot of the times in Midtown.
Control.
I just feel like.
Do you see their positioning right here?
Yeah.
Keep them there. That's your job.
Okay.
Do not let them walk forward and help this guy. Keep them there. Wall climb up here, or flank around, or wall climb up here. Keep them there, or dash across here. You throw shurikens, sit on your deflect for when they push you, and they walk forward, you shoot them in the head, right? Okay. Keep them there. You gatekeep all the good positions on the map because you could be anywhere at any point in time. You have the best 1v1 kit in the game besides Tracer, and you also have the ability to disengage fights, right? You're a weak hero, but that's your strength. This is the mistake. And while doing this, shooting a Zarya bubble, I wonder what the enemy backline is doing. Do you want to guess?
Probably killing my team.
W key. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Right? In fact, they could have played even more aggressively here. You contributed absolutely zero to this Zarya dying and allowed them to walk forward like this.
Right.
You're good in 1v1s versus squishies, so leverage that either directly by 1v1ing squishies or threaten the 1v1s and squishies that prevent them from taking space. Remember what we did here on the Cassidy? The dash, right click, deflect out. You took him away from this angle to kill your backline. That's what Genji's good at. That's how you control space. Even this just feels silly. Because you go here, don't just right click, then deflect, right? Right click, then deflect.
Wait, I didn't do that? I didn't right click
No, I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. Surely I'm wrong.
No, I mean, there's a good...
Nah, you did right click, you did right click.
It's baked into my subconscious at this point.
Yeah, good. Don't overextend. Changing our music. Changing our music again, there you go.
Changing our music? What is that?
Well, you stopped for a second. You paused for a second. So I just assumed, you know. Oh, I don't think you saw the cast in the flank. Get him. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Unfortunate. I think you clunked it up mechanically a little bit, but it happens. Don't worry about it too much. All right.
I mean, this game I was definitely one of my worst ones, but hey, it's
yeah,
one of the
that's
best
okay.
ones
That's okay. I don't obsess with mistakes like that as much.
I'm gaining a lot already.
Right. Just goofy errors like you don't need me to tell you, you know. Huh. Almost. Nice. No. Like again here, you're thinking, oh shoot, I'm half, just right click, use the wall, drop, and you're good to go, right?
I agree. What is this guy doing? He's so stupid.
I just don't know. It's just a little bit of the ego there, you know? All right, let's see.
Gotta get that clip.
Yeah, I guess so. Big. She is out of position. Get her. Yes. Oh. Get her. No! Stop with the deflect! Stop it!
Stop deflecting me.
You're full HP. There's no threat of a cooldown unless you really think that she's gonna Mei Icicle in the noggin right there. It ain't happening. Even here, stop shooting the Zarya, right? I understand that she feels overextended. Shoot these guys. Stop shooting the tank, right? Yeah. Okay, let's watch a little bit more. Do you have any questions so far?
No, for the most part, you kind of answered them. Like,
okay, the problem with Genji is there's so much like detail sometimes to the hero, but I guess here's what we want. We want you to utilize your mobility and your cooldowns to take the best positions possible to do damage with your shurikens, while at the same time having a position that allows you to go for assassinations if you see the opportunity. What we're seeing with you is I don't think you're taking good positions to control backline. You're focusing tank too much. And you're using your deflect just for generate spam damage. Maybe I get a cooldown here or there, instead of using it to enable you to go aggressive or to hold an aggressive position. You kind of see what I'm saying? Those are the two things I think I want to keep an eye on. Let's watch. Let's see if we might be able to finish this map. I'd like to finish this map.
Okay.
Now you see it here, right? You see it here, where you're like, this is really risky, but you're causing them hesitation. It's scary. You're Batman, essentially, back here, right? And that is good for your team, as long as it does not compromise your survivability, and I don't think it will. I would not even necessarily move here.
I should just, like, hold this.
Right. As long as you can... Now, you can't hold it for long, because that's going to happen, and you can't get healed. Okay, idea was good. We just needed to like actually get to safety with it, right? Because if you just dash over, you land here, we're good to go. This Ashe, this Mercy, they've been out of the fight, right? We just need to actually end up in a good spot. You kind of see
I was trying to wall climb the train and then end up here, but then it just didn't work.
Yeah, and again with the deflect, a lot of your deflects, even when they're not bad, they're not good. Right here. What are you deflecting here? An unscoped Ashe shot at point blank range?
Yeah, like nothing.
You know, this is how you deflect versus like a Reaper or a Cassidy with grenade or a Junker Queen or a Junkrat, right? This deflect just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense because this guy should get right clicked in the head, right?
Yeah, it's a very unconfident reflect.
It really is. It is. It either feels a lack of confidence or it feels like we're just I see damage, I deflect just automatically. Now, I mean, you came a millisecond away from getting out.
Yeah.
And even this dash just doesn't make sense either, right? Like, why dash here, right? She's a full HP. We need to focus on 80-80 strafing and hitting shurikens in her head, and then either dash to finish or dash to escape. But what do? You dash for 50 damage, we disorient ourselves, and we miss our first shuriken, then we melee, and we're completely disoriented, and then we're dead. You see that?
Yeah.
That's another thing that we gotta keep in mind, is we dash oftentimes not as a finisher or as a setup for your engage. You just dash in these 1v1s, and you just completely disorient yourself. The reason we use dash aggressively is when we need to close the distance, like the Ana and Numbani, right? Or the Cassidy on first point over here, right? When you need to close the distance versus a hero that outranges you. But in a hero that you're equal in range, use your dash as a finisher or as like avoid a cooldown or something like that. Right. Again, with the deflect there, be really careful. Okay. Go back up top. What's the best position that you can be holding or pressuring from?
Top right.
Top right. Now, I don't know if you have healing with you, so I'm going to cut you some slack. I think this position is fine, but right now, I beg you don't turn on the Junker Queen. Your job here is to just be a gnat in the eye of their Bastion, and their Ashe. Be a nuisance. Survive.
So it is correct when one of like someone in the team goes in, like a monkey, a Junker Queen, or whatever on my team. I shouldn't be going back and pressuring them despite them maybe being out of position. I should be cutting off their support, pressuring their backline, etc.
Who are you better at 1v1ing? At Junker Queen in your backline at full HP? Right. Yeah. These guys, right? These guys. And you don't even have to. Like, look at the follow-up. Watch this. Just watch this from their perspective. The Junker Queen ults now. Oh. You see this? You see this? Yeah. Watch this. We're going to keep going with it. Oh. You see that? He turns back. Yeah. Okay? Let's go further. We have at least 3 people that we can check off here. I'm curious what their Ashe does. Yeah, you see it? Just that little attention, right?
Yeah.
Right? Where's the follow-up from the Junker Queen ult, right? Now this fight is lost because the Junker Queen hits the fattest ult in the history of her life. But this should have been a 5K, not a 2K. Right? And there's actually a world where you could actually survive this as well. This is so risky. But guess what you do? That's good. That's really good. This was good. This was good. You gate kept their back line. With no help. Okay. This is not good. Okay? This is greedy because of your position. And if you're going to take a greedy flank, when should you actually execute your greedy flank?
Time well when my team is going in.
This is atrocious.
Not when we're going out.
This is atrocious. You should get punished for this. And you do. Yep. It's too free. Like the obviously the flank is super greedy, but I actually don't have a problem with it. That's where you work. Go for it. But man, if we had just waited just like 2 seconds. Oh no! Stop with the deflect, please. I beg.
Okay, in my defense, I'll tell you what the reasoning is. Probably incorrect anyway, but I'm gonna put it out there. I was calling for nano.
Yes.
And the nano didn't happen yet, and I was really scared that I was gonna be too low, and I just needed. We're gonna lose here. I wanted to not be dead. Still probably better to save it here though. Like if I'll be real with you.
That's all right. Fair enough. At least if there's a reason for it, I'm okay with it. Nice, huge clutch. There you go. This is good. Nicely done. Nano blade.
And then we lose.
Oh no. Control the top. Control the chop. Control the chop. Oh, disaster from your Kiriko. Okay. Get her. Oh, we see 9?
We got back capped, yeah, by the Junker Queen.
Oh! I was about to be mad because your Kiriko blew ult way too early, and case in point, right? Okay.
No.
Okay, what are you seeing with your Genji play? We talked almost more about philosophical ways of approaching the game rather than specific hard things, but I think that's pretty important regardless. So, Genji, what are you seeing?
Okay, so I saw the easiest one, the one that's hard absolute, is using deflect not to reposition, which is correct, not basically improperly, as well as dash to improperly, so not using it as a finisher, like massive burst combo, not setting up even just for the perspective of dash right click, turn around right click melee, stuff like that. There's a lot of times where I'm just throwing out dash just cuz, and throwing out reflect just cuz. Maybe not all the time, but way more than I should be doing, especially for this rank. And
so how do you use deflect? Dash, we said for finisher and or closing distance. Okay, how do you use deflect?
So A, repositioning is a big one. B, get out of jail free card. So that means you can B, go ego, a little bit brain damage like that, and then use reflect to get out. C, if there is I don't know if you're gonna actually agree with this one, but if there's so much spam, like a BAP window with 5 people left clicking through it, it is a lot of alt charge and a potential pick. Right?
Works for me.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Those are the outliers. Okay. I'm down with that. Yeah, I'm totally down with that. Yeah, but make sure it's that, right?
Yes, exactly. Not one person. There's 7 other things I could be doing, and then I just I'm wasting my time.
Right. So for me, it's just deflect for repositioning, deflect used for duels, right?
Oh, that's that's a huge one.
And that's basically it, right? You have and then the greedy ones, the ones where it's worth the greed because it's such a huge opportunity to blow up. Okay, and then I think in general the only other thing I'd add is the tank focus a little bit, maybe more controlling backline positioning to contest angles instead of focusing tank / frontline.
I like this a lot actually. I really think it's something I should be doing more. Denying high grounds for widows, maybe not killing them, but at least denying high grounds, denying power positions for enemy teams and stuff.
Right.
That's it's kind of still very abstract in my head though. I'm unsure. After this, later tonight, how am I gonna execute this is still kind of a question mark in my head. I don't know how I'm gonna get better at that.
Well, it's gonna take a lot of practice because, like you said, it is a very abstract and difficult thing. It's incredibly nuanced and it's going to take a long time. But it is going to be a ceilingless skill. So that has a lot of return on investment if you can work at it. It's not going to be like, oh, this one quick tip, it's going to bump you by 500 SR, but it is going to be, so for you, it's going to be like, what one do I want to work on in the short term? The deflect one is pretty easy. It's going to take a lot of practice to break that habit, but it's pretty obvious when, did I need to deflect there? Nah, I was just using it for spam. I need to break that habit. Or was I using the dash one is a little bit trickier, right? You know, was I using did I need to use the dash to close the distance like on the Ana? Did I use the dash to finish off the kill? Or I thought it was going to finish the kill like in the Mei. We can live with those, but then the dash is like on the Junker Queen or the Mei when she already has Ice Block. Those didn't make sense, right?
Right.
And that's that one needs to improve. And then the really theoretical one, the really philosophical one was more about controlling spaces, Genji, positioning in aggressive positions because you can and because you can deny the enemy team. One thing that might be a little bit of a cheat code is just thinking about what's a good angle for me and can I avoid shooting their tank? And I think maybe that might be like a quick shortcut to like, it's like a preschool version of positioning with Genji and map control and angles. It's like it would be a little bit of a step above where we are right now.
Okay.
I also highly recommend taking a look at your replay codes. Not like in-depth review, hour and a half, but like 5-10 minutes. Look at your deflect usage. See how you're doing at these things. You know, give yourself a checkup every week or so. And then also,
what I'm probably gonna do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say what I'm probably gonna do is I grab my teammates and I make them. We do like assisted coaching where like they watch me play like quick play and we're trying to break the reflect thing. We're trying to break the dash thing. And I'm gonna do that like quite often, and then go into like a comp game, see how well that was by like quickly checking the review. I think that's
yeah. I mean, it's gonna take a lot of practice to break these habits. Like when it comes to like being really good at the game, there aren't any shortcuts. There just isn't. Unless you play Sojourn back in the day, you know. So we have to break bad habits and build good habits, and so even in the course of like, let's say a month from now, that's a drop in the lake for how long you've been playing Overwatch. You know what I'm saying? So we want to just be 5% better at any of these skills, practice them one at a time, and then try and evaluate yourself at how you're actually doing at them. You know, don't just assume. Really try and give it a look. You know, how am I doing when I'm not thinking about it? That has to be the question for me. And also the replay code rule. So you could shoot me in a replay code anytime like the next month or so. Yeah, totally up to you. And give me like 4 timestamps. Like, hey, how does this look? I didn't know what to do here. How do I play versus this comp or position in this map? It can be Genji, it can be Echo, it can be whatever. And then I'll give you a little bit of follow-up feedback. Whenever you want to catch that one, and you do it.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. And then, like I said, if you have any other questions,